and I've not updated that ever. I hardly ever update Windows updates, and when I say hardly ever, I think this weekend was the first time I did any Windows updates since buying Windows 7 and installing that, only because my previous computer used to run perfectly fine. I'd then install, for a second I thought that said Mario Balotelli just joined the session, but anyway, yeah, it would run perfectly fine, and then I'd, I'd forget I hadn't turned off automatic Windows updates. They'd start updating with important updates left, right and centre, and then it would turn to treacle. So updating the BIOS is one of those things that really scares me. I'd rather reformat the computer than update the BIOS, because I think if you can have issues with a graphics card driver update, imagine, it's gonna hurt. How did I do that? Imagine what would happen if the BIOS for the motherboard was a version that actually had issues in it. When I bought it, it was overclocked as well. I've got MSI Afterburner, and the graphics card I had, again an Nvidia one, was overclocked. The RAM was overclocked. PC was overclocked. They tweaked it to within an inch of its life, and then stepped back from the edge and did all the stability tests. But I used to have, what was the problem I used to have? I can't remember what the problem was, but I'd have system instability. So when I upgraded the RAM and changed the graphics card, I just turned off all the overclocking. No, it was when I installed Windows 7 and updated the graphics card memory. So yeah, I turned off all the overclocking. So yeah, you're right, that is possibly an option as well. Because I think, as I said, did I say it's a 3.2 gig or 3.2, and I think they clocked it up to 4.5 or something like that. I can't remember. It was ridiculous.
What do we need to do, Brian? How much of an adjustment do you want?
I want you to shut up when I'm right on the apex. That's what I want. Okay, I had to choose the lesser of two evils there. Slow down much more than necessary, or drive off the track. And lose the banker lap. Now, why didn't I bank a lap like this yesterday? Eh? Straight out the gates to a PB for the week. Yeah, I don't really care what happens in the rest of the session. That's a decent way to start it. And this is where I do miss not having eye speed in the stream. Uh-oh. Because you would have seen the sectors building and had a much better idea
Go ahead, bring her on a pit this time.
of what the lap might have been before I crossed the line. Missed the gear shift. Yeah, that's kind of what my first thoughts were when, I can't remember who it was, someone suggested the BIOS as an option, and if anyone on the stream knows, Arts Co-Shed spent about 6 hours yesterday doing everything but going anywhere near the BIOS. As if I picked up a 1x on an outlap. But yeah, I still maintain that some of the issue is something in the iRacing build, because everything except the heart rate monitor was working pretty fine until maybe 2 weeks ago. And back then I had like everything you could think of in the overlay. But again, even that, I know it's not the overlay. It's iRacing with its 40% plus system resource use. Okay, this lap's over already. Yep. But no point pitting. Let's get the tyres up into peak operating window and go again. And if I haven't said it yet on this stream, I really love this car. I forgot how much I loved it when it first came out. Didn't really race it because was A, still getting used to it, and B, everyone was trying all the different variations and I was rubbish in all of them. Jumped into the BMW when it came out because I've always driven BMWs and got used to racing that, but I can't help but feel the BMW feels wrong. Well, not wrong, it feels more like an open wheeler. An open wheeler on breeze blocks, whereas this feels closer to the feedback you get in a Assetto Corsa. Uh-oh. Greedy, got greedy. Hey, Dennis. Yeah, I was saying, the times alone are a good indicator of how it's better today than yesterday. Okay, which way are you going? First of all, network-wise, OBS is, well, it's been saying all morning zero dropped frames. Spent all night far too long, up until 3 AM, scouring the internet. Came across some posts of other people that have Windows 7 that have exactly the same problem. Then found a couple of discussion threads and blogs. I've suggested services running in Windows to turn. That's a first. To turn off. Yeah, so first I went into, the first person suggested going into MS config and turning off some stuff. The other person said, oh nope, don't go into MS config, don't do the changes there, change them in server dot, I think it's MSC, can't remember what that is, but services, and to go into services and start disabling things, disabling them or putting them to manual, but not just randomly. He's got a good list of what you can change for each Windows operating system, and for three profiles. So one that's nice and safe, your system's going to be fine. Okay, that stutter, I'm blaming that stutter there for going off. One for interim, you know, and another one for, okay, yeah, you can do this, but welcome to the world of prototypes. If it boots up, you're lucky. But things I would never have known, like I said yesterday, I'm not very technically minded, so I would never have known to even consider it a look. But things like go in there and turn off Windows Media network share settings. Just turn them off. And I also don't trust the NVIDIA GeForce experience, because I just think it pokes its nose into far too many different places. I don't want my graphics card doing audio, even though I know it's HDMI. But even that, turning off HD sound, which is probably why my sound in my headphones is different today than yesterday. And although I'm still getting high CPU usage, sorry, had to concentrate, at idle last night, whereas I was idling at like, what was it, 20 something percent. Last night I was idling at 0% CPU usage, but it did keep spiking, just like it said in the forums. Other people said, yep, still get spikes up to like double digits, and that's what mine does as well. So there's probably more work for me to do, but the consistency of times today just demonstrates how much easier it is to spot a breaking point, hit an apex, flirt with the track out boundaries, and correct micro slides, which I just couldn't do yesterday, to the tune of a second. Whereas today, like there, nailing it. Unlike there. But there, that would have been a 1x yesterday. And as for that, well, we all know what that would have been yesterday. In all these laps, compared to yesterday,
Show me the checker flag, my man.
would all be PBs. If I could have done that in the Sim Racers Asias. See you, Koshed, thanks again. But yeah, if I could have done this in Sim Racers Asias, I mean, look at that first lap in qualifying compared to yesterday. Next lap, forget that, that was bad. But there, 3 laps. And that's normally where I like to race, not necessarily that close to the front of the grid, because that's not that close to the front of the grid, but normally my laps in a race scenario are 2 tenths, 3 tenths most off each other. I don't like racing half a second faster on one lap, a second slower on the next lap. So for me, see, look at that, whoa, nice times. But I get 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, More 1Xs than I would have liked, but can't complain. So, yeah, deal's a deal's a deal. Unlike yesterday where I didn't keep any of my deals. So, thanks again to everybody that hung out. I will be back later. We've got a team meeting at 5 as well, and I think it's going to be one of those on-track team meetings. So, that should be interesting in itself. But let me have a look at the chat. No, didn't reset graphic settings in iRacing. Did tweak a few of the settings just now, but that was after already making some headway last night. What's this? I'll open the links you've put. So add to reading list. Add to reading list. Add to reading list. Okay. Need to do one more thing to go to the link I put up and follow the screen instructions. You'll run a lot better after that. Yeah, I will do that as well. Because yeah, that's the other thing. One thing I forgot, but again spotted in the marathon session yesterday was when I rolled back the graphics drivers, and then ran the iRacing configuration wizard again. I completely missed when I went to turn things back off. Completely missed that it had turned on all shadows or more shadows and second pass and all sorts of things like that. What else did I do? But then what I did yesterday was, since it didn't really make much of an improvement, I updated the NVIDIA drivers through the Windows update instead of from NVIDIA. So I don't know if it's the same drivers or not, but what I wanted to see was if I could update the drivers to the most recent drivers, but uninstall the NVIDIA GeForce software so that it's not hogging anything in the background, because I've got a suspicion, and I could be wrong, but I have this suspicion that because of the shadow play settings and functionality on the card, that because shadow play lets you do either automatic or manual screen capture straight from the card, which it then saves. So if you do automatically, it will save in memory the last 20 minutes, and then if you hit a button, it will dump that buffered memory into a file, so you can then go and watch it back later. It's for people that play, I don't know, Halo and Modern Warfare and want to get their last 20 minutes kill spree. It's just like a hot button, hit it now, and it will dump the last 20 minutes from the graphics card into a video file. Then you've got the manual where you can just turn it on and it will just capture everything going through the screen, through the card, sorry. And then you have the option to turn it to stream, where it will then stream to Twitch, and that's where I did all my streaming before, but I could never stream in race because it had this effect. I would always stream the replay afterwards. So my suspicion, which could be completely unfounded, is that in the background the GeForce, I don't know, processes are still running even though it's turned off, and they might be stealing system resources. So I want to get the drivers and remove the software as another step in the experimentation. But yes, 5 to 3, so I've got to run, got to exercise, finish the washing clothes, it's Sunday, everyone's got to prepare for work, vacuum top to bottom, polish some stuff, eat something, and then also try and empty my work email inbox before tomorrow. But as I said, 5 o'clock we've got our team meeting, and someone suggested we do it on track, so who knows, maybe there'll be some crazy blue flag action in some random session coming to a stream near you. But once again, thank you to everybody. I really do appreciate you all giving up your Sunday just to sit here and listen to me ramble. But it saves me speaking out loud and talking to myself, which I don't have an issue with. Some people have issues with talking to themselves. Me, I'm perfectly fine with that. at least this time I've got the excuse of saying, well, actually I'm talking for the benefit of the stream. So yep, I'm going to go right now. I'm thinking PlayStation Nation has come back to my house because OBS is now saying that I'm dropping frames at 3.2%, so you now might actually be getting the status. So I'm going to put up the holding page, quit out of iRacing, open the browser, go to Twitch and see, whilst it's still streaming, what Twitch says about my stream configuration, because yesterday it said it was all excellent. Bye, Big Berry. Thanks again. So need to update the Adobe Flash plugin for Firefox, because that was another thing. All the issues I had yesterday trying to get no, I don't want yeah, all the trouble I had trying to get Chrome off the system, which was an absolute nightmare. I spent all night trying to get Windows 11 on, and it just won't go. And then I couldn't get Firefox on. It wouldn't go either. However, didn't give up, got there in the end. So just downloading the updated plugin for Adobe Flash Player. Refresh the page, and let's have a look and see what the stream configuration assessment looks like.